Saw all the referees out getting their photo before this game. They've been doing an outstanding job, and you can see them. They're all watching this game intently as well. It's their goal as a referee to be a competitor. They'd love to referee these big games. Carruthers and Munro Cook will face off in the tip.
Yeah, just working out the stats here to make sure they got the right players on the score sheet to start and the ones who are going to be on the court so they can work out their classification. Make sure both teams are within the 14 points, ready to go.
Sydney Blues wearing their dark strip with the dark numbers. Makes it difficult. We know the players by face and by name, so the score bench need to know them by number as well. Okay, we're about to get underway. And it's Georgia Munro Cook winning the tip. Ball to Jess Cronje, out to Kylie Gauchi. Holloman gets a hand out, picks the pass. Steph Van Leeuwen now for Sydney Uni. Marianne Latu meets her outside the three-point line. Into MVP Hannah Dodd. Dodd with Gauchi. Holloman creates some space for Dodd. Off the window, Hannah Dodd will start our scoring.
Yeah, great start. We spoke a lot about Rose Holloman, but Hannah Dodd is going to be a key to the success for Lions as well.
They don't give out MVP awards for participation, that's for certain. Gauchi now to Latu. Latu into Munro Cook. Van Leeuwen with the job on Munro Cook. Munro Cook short on the first shot. Holloman now coming back for Sydney Uni. Getting Yildirim creating space. Jess Cronje facing up. There's Hannah Dodd again. Hannah Dodd.
She's got another grand final to play after this as well with the Wollongong Rollerhawks, but she's all business with every second she has on court, Hannah.
Absolutely. You know she wants this. She wants to upset the Sydney Blues' amazing season. 14-1 on the year as Georgia Munro Cook gets the ball. Dodd and Holloman both meet her. Couple of laps and it rattles through. Sydney Blues have scored their first basket. Carruthers to Yildirim. Yildirim met by Cronje. Holloman now. Rose Holloman crossing over with Hannah Dodd. Shot clock, 8 seconds. Dodd, the roll for Carruthers. Carruthers short, but it's Hannah Dodd with the rebound. Steph Van Leeuwen to Diddy Yildirim. Georgia Munro Cook making life difficult. Shot clock down to 8. Rose Holloman fading away. Short on that one. Georgia Munro Cook now for the Sydney Blues. Marianne Latu going down. Player safety, number one priority. Community once again, where Hannah Dodd helping out Marianne Latu. 15 seconds remaining on the shot clock for Kylie Gauchi to inbound. Gauchi to Munro Cook. Munro Cook working away with space. Marianne Latu out to Jess Cronje. Cronje will take the long shot. Off. No ring. Oh, so reset on the shot clock as Sydney Uni gets the rebound. Diddy Yildirim. Hannah Dodd. Bit of space. Resets. Hod. Hannah Dodd. Short this time. Kylie Gauchi with control. Finding space. Shuffle pass into Jess Cronje, who's short on her shot. Now Rose Holloman. Yildirim trying to keep the defender out of the way for Holloman. Holloman to Dodd. Dodd back to Yildirim. Diddy Yildirim will get the contact and head to the line for two.
Great job there by the Lions. We just see that extra player coming in as well so that when the pressure comes, smart pass and veteran move from the league MVP, Hannah Dodd, just to get the scorer there, the bucket.
So Tisha Shadwell will come in as Jess Cronje will head to the bench. Shadwell defensive presence. Huge height advantage over most players. As Yildirim's short, Latu with the rebound. Kylie Gauchi. Into Shadwell straight away.
We've seen that so many times this weekend where there's a sub and then straight away they're the one who gets the bucket.
Holloman has some space in front of Munro Cook. Spins, gets the ball into Carruthers. Carruthers drops it down.
It's great defense by Georgia Munro Cook there, but just that extra player coming through again for Sydney Uni.
Holloman able to find Carruthers with that pass. Gauchi met by Rose Holloman. Holloman get her hands in there, so we'll get called for the foul. Her first foul for the game. It's the one team foul each. 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter of this gold medal match. The Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League presented by the Beluga Foundation. Rose Holloman with the steal. Hannah Dodd resets and it'll get some space. Out to Holloman. Holloman being guarded by Georgia Munro Cook. Holloman, as the shot clock winds down, finds Hannah Dodd. A little long. Shadwell with the rebound to Latu. Marianne Latu has a lot of space. Oh, Rose Holloman just reaches out and deflects a pass. Shadwell into Munro Cook. Munro Cook with the height advantage over Hannah Dodd.
She doesn't miss too much of those ones.
Georgia Munro Cook, league's leading scorer. Van Leeuwen. Tracy Carruthers just a little inside the free throw line. Called for the 3 seconds. Mel Dunn will come in for the Sydney Uni Lions. And Carruthers will head to the bench.
So Lions moving under points now with this, but probably a little bit of a quicker lineup. So we might see a bit of pressure up the floor with the crew now.
Georgia Munro Cook met by Mel Dunn. Shadwell from the corner. Inside the three-point line, so it is a 2. Great shot from Tisha Shadwell. She's come in and made an immediate impact. Got a loose strap. Mel Dunn's strap has come apart from her legs.
I think that's actually popped off, so lost a screw on that part. So she's working out whether she plays without that. Just got a screw coming over, so the referee picking that up. Obviously making sure wheelchair basketball, we don't want a blown tyre out on the court.
So there will be a sub, and they'll do a little bit of mechanical work on Mel Dunn's chair. So Carruthers straight back in.
Yeah, we see the help from Wollongong Rollerhawks team manager, Jimmy, coming over to help out. So that's part of that community again, making sure everybody's right to go.
Ran into Jimmy in the elevator at the hotel last night with all the uniforms ready for washing. His night was not done while everyone else was starting to go to bed. Holloman. Rose Holloman. Still smiling, even having a conversation with the referees on the wheelback, but that smile is still there. Gauchi into Georgia Munro Cook. Munro Cook. No good. That's going to be Holloman's second foul in the first quarter.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be too fazed by that. Like Tisha did get the 2 points as well, and it is a second foul. But at least Tisha knows that there's going to be some pressure coming at all times with that. And there's no easy shots, which you wouldn't expect in a gold medal game anyway.
So timeout for the Sydney Uni Lions in this gold medal match. Wheelchair Basketball Australia presented by the Beluga Foundation. We have a tied ball game.
Yeah, we expected a close one, and it definitely has been that. That changing in the starting lineup with Jess Cronje coming in, bit of speed. It took some of the pace out of the game, and then gave time probably for Tisha Shadwell to see where those opportunities were. And again, that kind of almost super sub, have her come in, get an immediate impact on the scoreboard, and then follow up again with that deep 2.
So Shadwell, she's been on the court for 2.5 minutes. She's already up to 6 points. and heading to the line for one. So that's a great return.
Yeah, definitely. We spoke about, Georgia Munro Cook, absolutely prolific scorer, going to get points no matter what, but about who else in the Blues team is going to help contribute to that to make sure they can get that team win that we see so important when it comes to these games.
Already fast-paced game. The high point classification players getting those shots inside.
Yeah, and great, both teams up above 50% with their shooting percentage as well. So they're taking smart team shots. I think both teams about 5 from 9 each. So really high quality shots and great team basketball to get their teammates in positions where they can make them count.
So Shadwell will shoot the free throw. Shoots it long. Hannah Dodd will get the rebound. Back to Carruthers. Tracy Carruthers will now find Rose Holloman. Holloman. Coach Cox begging her to shoot the ball. She had the mismatch with Gauci on her. Too long from the pass. Mildred. Kylie Gauci all alone. She's a speedy player. Holloman's chasing, but will not catch up in time. Kylie Gauci gets her first points of the afternoon. Now Holloman to Carruthers. Rose Holloman met by Munro Cook. Didim Yildirim being harassed by Kylie Gauci. That's short. Misses the lot and will go out of bounds.
Yeah, we're seeing Sydney Uni Lions. They're kind of all around the arc there at the moment. Coach Cox is asking them to go in. Closer we are to the basket, technically easier it should be to get it in. But the defense of the Blues, just getting them right out and share contact early is making it difficult for that.
So Gauci inbounding the ball to Marianne Latu. Mari Yamamoto on for her first minutes of the final, the Japanese import, as Gauci gets the ball into Munro Cook. So Yamamoto's come in for Shadwell. Leading point scorer of the game is at the bench. Shot clock winding down. Needs to get it up. Marianne Latu cannot score on that trip. So defense from the Lions just stepping up. Alan Cox asking Rose Holloman to start shooting as she distributes the ball to Steph Van Leeuwen. Van Leeuwen knows she needs to make that shot. Coming back the other way via Gauci. Gauci and Dodd. Mel Dunn gets the rebound out to Holloman. There's Holloman. Gets chair checked. Mari Yamamoto gets her first foul.
And see, it looks like Mari's got the job on Rose Holloman, come out and just cause a bit of grief, but see the pick coming up from Steph Van Leeuwen, so she's come back to help ahead.
Didim Yildirim. All sorts of harassment reaching over from Yamamoto. Forces the miss. Coming back with Gauci. Kylie Gauci finds Georgia Munro Cook. Balances herself. She had all sorts of space. Got the position and gets the basket.
Yeah, great steal by Claire Knott there. It's one of those unstatable things that we know are so valuable to this game, helping the high pointer get inside the key.
Rose Holloman met by Georgia Munro Cook. Didim Yildirim.
Great start by Didim. We noticed yesterday it took her a little while to get going, but that early shot should be good confidence for her.
Yeah, she's a great shooter. When she gets going, it's going to be all systems go. Kylie Gauci finds some space. Yildirim and Van Leeuwen getting caught up on the pick from Yamamoto. So the high points player setting the pick for the low points player, allowing Gauci to score. Holloman getting caught in the backcourt. So Georgia Munro Cook able to force the turnover from Sydney Uni. And coming in will be Shadwell. Yamamoto back to the bench.
quick stint from Mari there before Tisha coming back in on court.
It was an impactful stint, especially defensively. Munro Cook looking at the three, turns it down. Hannah Dodd with the jog on Munro Cook. But Munro Cook with that height and reach advantage scores over the top. Mel Dunn, Rose Holloman, Steph Van Leeuwen. Van Leeuwen back to Holloman. Holloman to Dodd. Dodd works away under the basket, takes the contact, and will go to the line for a bonus shot.
Just that patience to just wait that little bit longer to get clear so she's not shooting at a tight angle, give it enough room to get up and over. You know, there's a reason why she's the MVP.
Mari Yamamoto coming in for Shadwell.
So that might have been Coach Sachs. Instead of using a timeout to talk to everybody, might have been a one-on-one conversation, get that conversation happen. Murray back into the game, so let's see what he's put in play here.
Hannah Dodd to the line. Dodd gets two pieces of the iron. Bounces out. So Gauchi will be met by Mel Dunn. The pass to Latu's feet.
Yeah, we had a great angle there. It didn't look like there was an actual gap between the two players, but Kylie Gauchi's made a career about, you know, getting gaps where there aren't gaps, but unfortunately just not where it needed to be to court.
Ball with Holloman. Thought that pass was going to Yildirim, but it's ended up with Holloman. Shot clock's off. There's 7 seconds remaining in the quarter. Van Leeuwen, that was a rush shot. Probably didn't need to rush that one. There's more time on the clock.
Yeah, I think with the baseline coming so close and knowing she's almost behind the backboard there, might have been just a quick hurry, but Georgia Munro Cook happy to let that clock run out with the last 1 second on the clock there. And a really good first quarter.
So Georgia Munro Cook with 8 points leads all scorers in this first quarter. Shadwell with those 6 points that came in just over 2 minutes of court time when she got to that total. Hannah Dodd, league MVP, 6 points. Didim Yildirim with 4. Tracy Carruthers and Rose Holloman with 2. Kylie Gauchi also with 4 for the Sydney Blues. So it's been fast-paced early.
Yeah, it has been. We thought Rose Holloman might take it on and do a few things herself, but she's got 4 assists at the moment, so she's still playing that facilitator role for here. We heard Coach Cox at one point encouraging her to shoot the ball. I think we'll hear that a little bit more as we go through, but, you know, 1 quarter in and 3 to play. It's only a 4-point ball game, but it's definitely living up to the hype of being a great game.
So the shooting percentages, Sydney Blues up to 60% now. The Uni Lions have just cooled off a little now, 7 from 17. But it's the rebounding count where Sydney Blues have a 5 rebound advantage over the Lions. And their high point players, Shadwell, Munro Cook, Cronje and Yamamoto, are just gobbling up those rebounds.
Yeah, I think it's not surprising with, you know, Troy Sachs being, you know, one of the most, you know, feared, probably the right word at times from opposition players, but physically dominant high pointers that played the game on the international scene. To have the high pointers in his team being a focus and doing what they're doing, it's you know, they've got one of the best to learn from. So, and a weird to see sometimes, but starting lineup without Georgia Munro cooking it now. So
yeah, Troy Sachs has given Munro Cook plenty of breaks throughout the year. She'll often spend a bit of time off at the start of the second quarter. Often we'll put the top on, the warm-up top, have a rest, and then come back in for that last 5 or 6 minutes. So we'll see what he does here as we're back underway with the Lions via Holloman. Holloman into Van Leeuwen. Van Leeuwen again overcooking the shot. Yamamoto with the rebound now with Gauchi. Kylie Gauchi off the window. 2 points. Claire not under the basket on the ground. So the game is stopped, but that basket will count. And it will be Lions ball from the baseline.
I see a little bit of press here from the Blues as well. trying to cause a little bit of grief like they did to Perth last night.
So Holloman. There's a lot of, as we're hearing Alan Cox, and I know you can hear this on the broadcast, Alan Cox yelling out spacing. There's a lot of Lions players who didn't need to be clogging up that mid-court area for Holloman, bringing their defenders with them. So we're with Amamoto to Shadwell. Short from Shadwell, but Amamoto with the rebound. Plenty of Lions to get that board. We're back with Dunn. Now Van Leeuwen. Van Leeuwen with Gauci in front of her. Holloman getting harassed.
Again, one of the benefits of wheelchair basketball, you know there's been contact when you hear that metal on metal. And Jared Cresp right in the exact spot to see exactly what happened at his feet there. So
Claire not called for her second foul. Holloman. She will take the shot. Short. Latu with the rebound. Back to Shadwell. Shadwell. Now with Kylie Gauci. Gauci looking for Shadwell. Shadwell too much on that pass. Throws it out of bounds. Sydney Uni will have the ball. 6-point game. Second quarter. Wheelchair Basketball Australia, proudly supported by the Beluga Foundation. Stand is absolutely jam-packed. Ball into Holloman, back to Yildirim. Dim Yildirim. Shots just not dropping for Sydney Uni right now.
Yeah, they're getting great looks. It's just not converting.
Gauci. Claire not to her left. Finds Shadwell. Shadwell too much. Steph Van Leeuwen, rebound. Rose Holloman. Georgia Munro Cook ready to come back in. Yildirim. Dodd. And a Dodd resetting via Rose Holloman. Holloman contact. And a charging foul called on Rose Holloman. That is going to be her third foul. There's 7 minutes, 48 seconds remaining in this second quarter.
Yeah, you just saw that. She's just holding on to the ball but used the other chair to stop her chair imbalance. So unfortunately we can't do that, but...
So Georgia Munro Cook coming back in. Tisha Shadwell to the bench.
Yep. No movement on the Lions bench, so they're still confident, despite the 3 fouls, that she can get after it and have an impact.
Latu kicks the ball to Gauci, who finds Georgia Munro Cook. Munro Cook. Holloman now tries to find Mel Dunn, but Marianne Latu takes the pass. Amamoto. And an over the back foul. Going to be called on Georgia Munro Cook. Her first foul for the game, but Coach Alan Cox has seen enough. He needs to talk it over. 8-point lead to the Sydney Blues in this gold medal match of the Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League. Yeah, Ray, there's a lot going on here in Sydney Uni. They need to find a stopper now.
Yeah, there is. I mean, we saw the Blues again. We've spoken about it all weekend and all season, really, with those subs where players coming on have that immediate impact. We probably need more attention when those subs happen. Let's get a chair on. They've just had a chance to get some instruction from their coach on the bench coming out, and they've been able to see where the gaps are. So that'll really help the Uni Lions if they actually get that stop on a chair and keep them out of where they want to be. Coming down the floor, it looks like at the moment the Lions as well, when they're coming into attack or into offense, that they've still got eyes going left and right trying to work out where their teammates are. And I think they're trying to sometimes give up good for great. Rather than recognise, their good is probably actually great compared to some other athletes. Maybe they need to take that shot earlier.
A little bit of selfishness required.
It is team's best interest sometimes. Yeah. So, sometimes you need to do the right thing by the team. Sometimes you are the right thing for the team at that point in time. So,
being selfish for the right reasons, I should say. Back out on floor, listening in to that timeout, it was Hannah Dodd, the assistant coach and league MVP, doing a lot of the coaching.
Yeah, something she wants to look at in the future as well, Hannah Dodd. So she's doing a lot of work outside of her playing to work out what else she can do in the game in hopefully many years to come.
So Mel Dunn caught in the back half of the floor. Couldn't get the ball to Holloman in time, so that is a 8-second violation in the backcourt. Not what you want coming out of a timeout to then to turn the ball over. Georgia Munro Cook looks for the three. Cannot convert. We're now coming back via Rose Holloman for Sydney Uni. Holloman and Amamoto. Steph Van Leeuwen. Finds space off the window. No. Georgia Munro Cook. Munro Cook to Gauci. Kylie Gauci gets the ball to Amamoto. Amamoto finds Georgia Munro Cook over the top of the rim. Hannah Dodd with the rebound. Didham Yildirim. Yildirim trying to find Holloman, but there was no way through. Amamoto with the steal. Georgia Munro Cook gets the ball back out to Gauci. Gauci, Murray Amamoto. Amamoto, Munro Cook steadies herself, shoots.
Yeah, we saw that last possession with Lions coming down into attack. That pass from Diddy to Rose, it was 2-on-1 there, so there was obviously another Lions player open. We need to hear their voices a little bit more just so they know where the options are.
Yildirim again, another errant pass.
And 2-on-1 to Holloman as well. Saved by her just being a little bit too far underneath the basket there, Mari, but ball's back with the Blues.
Claire Knott. That ball's picked off by Holloman. Holloman has a bit of space in front of her, being chased by Knott. Rose Holloman able to get going. If she can get going, that'd be great for the team. 22 plays 16. Gauci. Kylie Gauci.
Vintage Kylie Gauci's just finding gaps where there don't look like there are gaps. She may sit lower than some other athletes out on court, but she still knows the exact right time to shoot after so many years and experience with the game.
So Gauci up to 8 points. Mel Dunn. Hannah Dodd.
Great bucket with the contact there as well from Hannah Dodd.
Kylie Gauci, multiple-time Paralympian, legend of Australian wheelchair basketball, gets the ball out to the Japanese Paralympian at Amamoto. Gauci into Munro Cook. Too long for Munro Cook. Holloman with the rebound. Sydney Uni really hoping that Holloman can put her mark on the game. Steadies herself. Too long. Tipped. Didham Yildirim just gets, as the fighting for the ball, just gets a piece of Marianne Latu's arm. So she will get the foul.
And subs both sides. Gids coming out. That Tracy was there long before that foul. So, and then for the Blues, we see Tisha Shadwell and Tori Simpson, the 1.0 to 1.5 MVP of the league, coming in for the Blues as well for her first minutes.
Tori Simpson has had a great season as Shadwell misses her first shot. So they managed to get the defense on the player coming in this time. Shot clock down to 20 seconds. No control established. Lots. Mel Dunn just got absolutely squeezed. Got the pass to Van Leeuwen. Van Leeuwen! Steph Van Leeuwen opens her account for the evening. Kylie Gauci. Gauci. Tori Simpson. Simpson to Shadwell. Steph Van Leeuwen called for the foul.
Blues are doing a really good job of just getting the foul call. They're getting a hand on the ball, the Lions, but then the Blues player is just quick to rip the ball just into a different spot and creating some contact with the arm there. So smart play by the Blues.
Liesl Tesh giving a few pointers to Kylie Gauchi. Tisha Shadwell has been lighting up the scoreboard when she's been on. Up to 8. Holloman. Dodd to Dunn. Dunn controls it and scores.
What a gather, by Dunn getting there and keeping it close. It's still a 4-point game with the Blues up 26-22 with 2:48 to play.
It feels like the Blues have been dominating a lot more than 4 points at the moment. So as Kylie Gauchi,
right on cue,
she's up to 10 points. Van Leeuwen gets the ball to Dodd. Van Leeuwen. Van Leeuwen goes down. Tori Simpson called for the block. Sorry, the holding foul.
So just hooking that on, and then obviously that was on holding Mel Dunn there, number 12, but then Steph Van Leeuwen coming out of a chair just because that space wasn't there that she thought was going to be there. So teammates just helping her back up.
Georgia Munro Cook in for Mari Yamamoto. So Van Leeuwen just a little gingerly as she gets back underway.
She's played a lot of minutes so far this weekend. A lot of energy, but she's back up. Check she's right, and team's good to go again.
Holloman met by Munro Cook. Steph Van Leeuwen couldn't get the catch. It was a good look by Holloman.
Yeah, a lot of pressure up there on the ball handler, but she's still able to see those players on the far side of the court and able to get that pass through almost on the money, but just not quite.
Shadwell passing back to Gauchi. 2 minutes remaining. Oh, Gauchi just weaving her way through.
So we spoke before we came on air about the team that has the most team players will be most successful as Tisha Shadwell picks that one off. And Kylie Gauchi looking like she's being another scoring option whilst George Munro Cook is getting extra attention from the Uni Lions as expected.
So Holtman goes out to Gauchi, which leaves Munro Cook.
Right on cue.
Gauchi, fake shot pass to Shadwell. Shadwell to Munro Cook. Georgia Munro Cook from the baseline. That is sweet. Inside the last minute of the half. It is now a 12-point lead to the Sydney Blues. Sydney Uni need to do something, and they need to do it now. So Mel Dunn will come back out. Didn't Yildirim coming in for the Lions. Yamamoto in for Shadwell.
So the Lions just getting back up to their full 14 points again. They're playing under for a little bit.
Yildirim just passing directly to Gauchi. Gauchi working her way for her shot. Kylie Gauchi, this is her game. Holloman, long pass.
Commentator gets a touch there. Nice work, Deeksy.
Thanks very much, mate. That was my highlight of the season. Actually, it's nowhere near my highlight. This has just been an incredible season. Wheelchair basketball in Australia is just going from strength to strength.
See Mari Yamamoto come off and Tisha Shadwell back on. Working with Claire Lynott on the far side.
Shadwell, she can shoot from that range, but not this occasion for the lefty.
We know she's always up for a block and a little deflection, but that one a little bit too much contact with Tracy Carruthers there.
So referee Kelly Griffin calling the foul on Shadwell. Shadwell's first for the game. Yildirim is having all sorts of trouble trying to pass that ball right now. I'm not sure what's going on, but
she's grabbing at her right arm a little bit. She's got a looks like a little tennis elbow brace on that. So the referee's just discussing, working out how much time should be on the clock. A couple of deflections. Has possession been taken or not?
Look at that.
Great seat here to hear that the clock did run on the play. So
we need to take 2 seconds off.
So 3.4 left to play.
So that's going to be half time in the gold medal match. The All-Sydney battle. It is the Sydney Blues 36, Sydney Uni Lions 22. And it has been Kylie Gauchi who has done the damage on the offensive end for the Blues.
Yeah, like we said, that it's going to be the team that has the most support around them and, trying to get multiple players into double digits. And we see Kylie Gauchi, 14 points. Georgia Munro-Cook, 14 points. We always expect her to be up there. And also Tisha Shadwell with 8 points. So no other scores for the Blues at the moment. But they've shared that around, going to some high percentage shooters, which has been really great. On the other side, we've got Hannah Dodd with 8 points. Always able to get buckets at times as well. But then after that, we dropped to 4 points and 2 points across a number of players with this so far.
So Rose Holloman, the multiple-time Paralympic medalist for the United States, only the 4 points at this stage. I can only imagine that she's going to really step up in this second half.
Yeah, I think big time. We heard out there, like, she's still doing a lot of coaching and helping mentor others as she goes as well. And it is much bigger than one player as well. So we do see that where we see Steph Van Leeuwen getting those rolls to the basket that have helped the Lions win different games at times. And we see just now where we talk about helping others, Rose grabbing the whiteboard and the marker then to help talk through the press breaker here for the Lions. So, they're a smart team. They know what they need. Reema and the others sort of reaching around so they can actually make sure they can see what's going on here as well and learn from that. So if their number gets called, they're ready to go in and play their role as they go, because it's a game of two halves. It is 14 points right now. However, there's still 20 minutes of wheelchair basketball to go, and we know that any team can step up and get after it as they go.
So we're going to step away for a few minutes, go to a break. We're at half-time of the Women's Gold Medal match of the Women's National Basketball League, presented by Wheelchair Basketball Australia, proudly supported by the Beluga Foundation, live on KO.
From the effort those people have put in, like Lorraine Landon and John and the team, just to say, well, let's just do it. So,
as the league goes from strength to strength, it's only going to help our gliders and our rollers, our national teams who have such a proud history and multiple medals at multiple Worlds and Paralympic Championships. So as Blues inbound the ball, picked off straight away by Carruthers. Now we're back with Holloman. Almost caught us by surprise how quickly Sydney Uni were able to get control of the ball. Holloman into Carruthers. Carruthers, the ball's deflected by Latu, but Carruthers stays with it, gets the shot to drop.
Just that height advantage there is great, and that patience to get the first little tap, but then reset and then get that ball knocked down.
Marianne Latu. So here Team Reema cheering on the Lions, decked out resplendently in their shirts. Georgia Munro, Cook, beautiful swish. Could hear that through the cans. That was a beautiful shot.
It is. Every shot's great from her, and that takes her up into being the leading scorer with 16 points now.
Yildirim gets the ball to Holloman in the front half of the court. All the hands around her. Holloman now takes the contact and will head to the free throw line where she has been perfect this weekend.
Commentator's curse. Does it continue, or?
She's such a professional. I'm willing to risk it. Rose Holloman takes her total of 5 for the game.
Yeah, that's just Georgia Monroe Cook's second personal foul as well, which...
The amount of minutes she plays, she often gets 3 or 4. So I'm sure that Troy Sachs will not be too concerned as Kylie Gauchi brings the ball back for the Blues. Gauchi to Amamoto. And foul's called on Steph Van Leeuwen. So Amamoto will head to the free throw line.
A little bit of tinsel on the court at the back, but referee's got that.
Yeah, the pom-poms are out for the lines, the gold and the blue. Amamoto misses her first free throw. We're getting to the point where it is almost standing room only in the stadium. The fans have expanded to both sides of the court, so they're behind us as well as taking up the full stand on the opposite side. Gauchi gets the ball into Munro Cook. Munro Cook, she had both Carruthers and Holloman on her, still was able to make that shot drop.
Yeah, she had a quick look either side to see if there was an open player, but realised she had just enough space and knocked it down, as we know she can do so often before.
Holloman for 3. That felt like the first time she was really looking for her shot at this stage of the game. Gauchi trying to get the ball to Amamoto, but Dodd shuts that down. And Gauchi resets, gets to Amamoto at the three-point line. Munro Cook with the protection offered by Daniela Eagle-Bass.
So gets them back out to a 17-point lead now for the Blues.
Holloman. Gauchi got a little bump from Latu, which knocked her out of control and stopped Holloman's progress.
A little bit of a giggle there, the sportsmanship in the game.
Dodd to Holloman. Active hands from Gauchi, knocks it loose, but Holloman does find some space. Not there for Rose again. Gauchi's got some space. Amamoto providing the cover. But Steph Van Leeuwen coming through will force Gauchi to reset. Kylie Gauchi. This is her shot. Frustrated groan from Kylie Gauchi. Dodd to Holloman. Rose Holloman. Back outside the three-point line. Now met by Amamoto. Hannah Dodd sets the pick, gets it to Steph Van Leeuwen. Steph Van Leeuwen misses her shot. Georgia Munro Cook for the Blues. Munro Cook sets herself for 2. And there's now a 19-point lead to the Sydney Blues.
Yeah, we see that the uni lines are back inside the paint, whereas Munro Cook with the ball is clearly the threat. We might need to see him extend out like what the Blues have done to keep the ball out on the three-point line where they can. Just try and drop that shooting percentage a little bit.
We've got an issue where the two wheelchairs were linked up between Dodd and Amamoto. So they stop the game so that they can get free. We'll have some subs. Shadwell and Claire Knott in. Daniela Eagle-Bast and Mari Amamoto head out. There's Holloman. Holloman steadies. No contact. Ball now with Munro Cook. Latu. Very close to 8 seconds there, but not quite. Shadwell. Shadwell met by Dodd. Munro Cook. And Lewin playing defence on her. Munro Cook with the rare miss.
You see that slight adjustment from the Uni Lions there, just that extra pressure. Munro Cook not able to square up totally where she's comfortable. We know she can shoot at different angles, but further out made it a little bit tougher there, so good job by Van Leeuwen.
So Van Leeuwen bring the ball back for Sydney Uni to Carruthers. Carruthers, pressure from Shadwell forced the miss. Gauchi working her way through. Not on this occasion. Carruthers gets the ball out to Dodd. Dodd surveying her opportunities, her options. Great passing from Van Leeuwen. There's Rose Holloman. It's the first time she's been able to get a shot next to the basket for a long time.
Yep, she's calling her teammates up the floor for a press, but Tisha Shadwell's got out the back, so...
Latu now gets the ball to Shadwell in the front court.
That's going to be the fourth now on Rose Holloman.
So her fourth foul. She will need to be careful because the Lions need her out there. There's no doubt about that. Gauchi to Munro Cook for three. Munro Cook! She doesn't take a lot of them, but she doesn't miss many of them either.
You know, this season her three-point percentage was above the benchmark that was required to qualify for the Paris Paralympics. So the one she takes definitely value and can do it.
Yildirim with the shot, which is rebounded by Gauchi. So Munro Cook is now up to 22 with 8 rebounds. Gauchi loses the handle. As you can hear, Coach Alan Cox needs to talk it over. It's a 20-point lead to the Sydney Blues, but it's way too early to write off the quality of the Sydney Uni Lions at this point.
Yeah, there's definitely still, 13 minutes and 53 seconds to go, 20-point ball game. We've seen teams come back and get things a lot closer with this. But right now, where we spoke about before the game about needing to be the team that plays the best team basketball, wheelchair basketball, will be the one to do it. And, Georgia Munro Cook up on 25 points is just, really done. She had a quiet start, but now she's taken over that game and, the lead is showing the impact that she has as, the high point MVP and also the leading scorer.
So Munro Cook also leading her team in rebounds with 8. Hannah Dodd with 6. For assists, Kylie Gauchi, no surprises there. She's been distributing the ball so well all season. Rose Holloman, as she's being kept quiet on the score sheet by her standards with the 5 assists. Defensively, Mari Yamamoto has 2 steals. Shadwell with 2 as well. Rose Holloman with 3 steals. So Rose Holloman is still putting her fingerprints on the game, but Sydney Uni are just struggling to find spots for her to score thanks to the stifling defense from the Blues.
Yeah, I think those steals from Rose fairly early in the game, so the pressure's kind of backed off a little bit from the Lions, and they probably need to bring that back in, obviously, with avoiding that 5th foul for Rose, but need to get the full 5 out there playing their roles with the press.
Holloman with the ball. Rose Holloman steadies herself, shoots for 2, just off. Gauchi with another rebound. Kylie Gauchi. Kylie Gauchi once again resetting. Munro Cook didn't look like she wanted that pass, but Latu will head out and Tori Simpson will come in. So, Coach Cox just pointing out the double team meant that someone was going to be open. That person was Carruthers. She's still with the ball. Gets it to Holloman. Holloman unable to convert on this trip. Defense from Tori Simpson. Simpson gets the ball to Munro Cook. Munro Cook to Gauchi. Gauchi gets the ball to Shadwell.
Great pass.
Ball locked up. It will be a held ball, and the ball will go with the Sydney Uni Lions. Yildirim. Stephen Yildirim controlling the pace for Sydney Uni. Hannah Dodd. Great control. Gets the ball into Carruthers. Carruthers just stopped dead in her tracks from a will touch by Shadwell. Just stopped her roll so she couldn't grab the ball.
Yeah, that pass has got to be pinpoint accurate there. We know Shadwell's reach is really big. So just right on the money to get it there, but it's still got to be on that other side so that Tish won't get a hand on it. Just unlucky that time.
Gauchi. Gauchi will shoot. Gauchi will score. Taking the lead out to 22 for the Blues. Gauchi up to 16. Holloman, great chair control, stays upright and took too long to get the ball out of the half court.
So we got the call from Coach Cox asking the Lions to regroup. That's all right.
Mari Yamamoto now. Shadwell from deep. Deep rebound for Yamamoto. Gauchi gets the ball into Shadwell. Shadwell will have another shot. So fouls on Mari Yamamoto in the rebounding contest. And coming in, Rima Al-Qasim, you are about to hear a loud, loud cheer.
She brings the fans with her, and they're all here in full voice and drum. And the chant has started.
Al-Qasim in her first year of wheelchair basketball, only 6 months in the sport. She's finding some space. Holloman tried to find the pass to her. Shadwell, the spoiler on this occasion. Yamamoto now. Mari Yamamoto.
So his long arms of Van Leeuwen there just get the deflection, but only as far as Kylie Gauchi.
Kylie Gauchi from the elbow. Not able to get the rebound. Al-Qasim chasing the ball hard, making sure no one could touch it. But Coach Troy Sachs has seen something he'd like to discuss. So the Sydney Blues will call a timeout.
1 minute, 3 seconds left to play in the third quarter, and 22-point lead for the Blues. There's going to have to be something pretty special now to change this lead here, to get it back in. And depending on who we have coming in with the Sydney Uni Lions, we haven't had a big input from Rose Holloman on the score. And still even now when they're in their huddle, where she's still talking to her teammates, working out what they need, they're still leading, they're still trying to work out their options. But just right now, the Blues, it doesn't matter what lineup they put out there, there's a second, third and fourth option coming. Albeit contested, didn't come off, but they're just trying to continue to go in waves and waves, the Blues, and they're just showing why they've been the elite team of this competition this season so far.
Yeah, the Sydney Blues came into this final series with a 14-1 record through the regular season. Had a close win over Sydney Uni on Friday night, just 6 points in it. Rose Holloman was the key factor for the Lions. El Qasim. Rima El Qasim rims out.
I think we just saved the roof of the stadium there. If that shot goes in, expect it to get very, very loud in here.
Kylie Gauchi for Sydney Blues. Claire Knott. The pass unable to be controlled. So the ball goes to the Sydney Uni Lions. Just in front of a few members of the Adelaide Thunder squad. Yildirim throws the ball, picked off by Shadwell. Shadwell into Amamoto. Amamoto not able to score. So Didim Yildirim will get the ball to El Qasim. Rima El Qasim. Could not get the basket on this occasion.
Yep, shot clock's out, 3 seconds to go. I don't know if they're aware at the moment.
That's who's aware, Rose Holloman.
And that's 3 more points right on the buzzer there.
So finally, that's probably the first amount of space that Rose Holloman has been able to find in this game. And you just see how outstanding a player that she is.
Yeah, maybe she's had too much time at other times during this game so far. Just needs to be that crunch time, big time plays in the crunch. But that brings it back in, back under 20 points again. So back to 19 points now with the Sydney Uni Lions trailing the Blues 30-49.
It's not out of the question, but it is going to be a big ask for the Lions. Georgia Munro Cook, 25 points, 8 rebounds. Kylie Gauchi with 16 and Tisha Shadwell with 8. Rose Holloman now takes her total to 10. Hannah Dodd, 8. Carruthers, Yildirim with 4. So it's just been a great defensive effort from the Sydney Blues. They're keeping Holloman out of the game.
Yeah, it is. And that's just the Sydney Blues. You see they get chair contact after chair contact, making sure they're just making it awkward, turning chairs so they're not squared up, lowering the percentage of the shot and going for it all game. And then we see with the Uni Lions where they're trying to get players out in the open court and just getting bits there, but just that final piece not coming through where it is, Reamer on the break there where we saw, but not squared up to the basket. And we heard Coach Cox calling out nice and loud for that, but just not getting those last bits. And that's going to come with experience. Like I said before, 6 months knowing about the game and being here in a gold medal match of the National League. Like, what an experience, and still out there now on the court.
An inspirational young person to follow. Jess Pello is in for the first time this weekend for the Sydney Blues. Mary-Ann Latu for Sydney with a quick score. Van Leeuwen, she needs some help. Gets it in the form of El Qasim. El Qasim to Yildirim. Yildirim to Rose Holloman.
Big contact on that shot, but doesn't worry her at all. 3 more points for Rose Holloman.
Seems like that's the instruction. Rose needs to get going from outside. Cronje back into the game for the first minute since the first quarter. Now Gauchi. Munro Cook. Munro Cook creating some space for herself. That shot's short. Gauchi will get the offensive rebound. Kylie Gauchi out to Munro Cook. Munro Cook steadies and scores.
Playing so consistent. There's a reason why she's the captain of a country, and she just does that over and over. It doesn't matter what level she's at. So we're lucky to have her in our program.
Dodd passes the ball to Yildirim. Yildirim back to Holloman. Holloman attracting a lot of attention as she does. Shot clock winding down. That was going to be a tough shot, that one.
It was. It wasn't off by far. It looked fairly straight here just until the last minute there from our angle. And Coach Cox just confirming what type of contact it is on the shot. But Jared Cresp is having none of it as the play continues with Jess Cronje now.
Yeah. Gauchi. Gauchi going down to El Qasim. Dodd spins her chair into Latu, which forces the pass to Cronje. El Qasim with the rebound. Dodd, big bounce pass through to Van Leeuwen. Munro Cook is charging along. Steph Van Leeuwen with the layup.
I saw that earlier this weekend as well. Steph Van Leeuwen being able to finish at pace and all around the basket. So bring it back to an 18-point ball game now.
Gauchi into Cronje. Munro Cook off the window. Holloman, the Sydney Uni Lions. The 8 seconds in the back court just seem to sneak up on the Lions very quickly then.
Yeah, we see there's a lot of movement by the Lions. They're trying to get to spots, but they're doing it all as individuals. We need them to see, maybe cross for each other, take a chair, so they can get open and then get that pass over the top. But at the moment, while they're pushing by themselves, they're not able to do it as a team, which is what you need to be successful.
And Georgia Munro Cook. Ball through a few hands. Back to Gauchi. Holloman inviting the shot. Great defense. Forces the shot clock violation. A few more subs in front of us coming in. Mel Dunn.
Well done. We see Talon Reedy coming in as well for a first minutes as another one of the young New South Wales junior athletes who's coming to league this year as a rookie. Plays in the Waratah League, Club Challenge, basically any opportunity there is. There's a lot more places where people can actually play wheelchair basketball now, and she's taking full advantage. We saw her behind the Wollongong bench yesterday, listening in, trying to learn, really taking every opportunity, when there's games there to both be a fan but also learn as she gets her first touch now.
She has been in this stadium all weekend, watching, observing and learning. Not even old enough to have her license yet. Has been learning so much. And she's just put Marianne Latu on the deck. Her facial expression was quite priceless with that one. So Latu back up. It's been a big year for wheelchair basketball in Australia. Several members of our Wombats, the 3x3 team, who went to South Africa and won a bronze medal. Hannah Dodd, Marianne Latu, Georgia Munro Cook, all over there as a member of that squad. As the shot clock dobs them in again, 8 seconds in the backcourt. As we saw last night at the presentation evening, the league is just going from strength to strength, providing more opportunities for players. Tori Simpson coming in from Marianne Latu.
Yeah, there's definitely lots of ways people can play and get involved, and encourage everybody, no matter what state you're in, to reach out to your local contacts or to WBA where you can get connected. As Victoria Simpson comes in, just misses that layup. Loose ball picked up by Rose Holloman, but connecting with your state so that you can get your opportunity to play. Whether you have a lower limb disability or not, there's an opportunity for everybody in all states.
Talon Reedy. El Qasim with hands in. El Qasim is called for the foul. Her fans just absolutely love her. Such a bright personality on and off the floor. Her journey is inspirational on the social media as she shares her journey. Offensive foul called behind play. Tori Simpson called for the block.
Yeah, one of the things a lot of coaches like about Victoria Simpson is her aggression and her willingness to get in there and after it. Sometimes she'll get called for that, but she's not going to back off any, and she's still going to make sure she keeps going through. It may create some space for her a little bit further down the game if people don't want to get quite as close, as Claire not deflects that away from Talon Reedy. Still in the backcourt, 19 seconds on the shot clock, so they've got to try and get this catch in the front court to avoid the backcourt violation.
Sure enough, that's what they do. Dunn. Holloman spinning and shooting. Desperation three.
Just a bit too much arc on that, but that spinning not getting the power behind it.
It's physics, Craig. It's physics.
It's almost like it's science, isn't it?
Yes.
You see another sub coming up here now for Sydney Uni Lions.
Munro Cook just on the charge circle. Reedy to Holloman. Rose Holloman pushing. Just taking on everyone. Hands everywhere.
So Tani about to sub in for Rima. So Coach Cox working out, where can we get a score from, where we can get an option. So he's adding a bit more height to the court as well. As we hear a cheer from the crowd there. So many players with their fan groups in.
Mel Dunn gets the catch. Some space down low. Not able to convert. Munro Cook. Munro Cook not quite there for her. Holloman with space. Claire not trying to direct the chair. Kylie Gauci gets the foul.
I think the timing of that being so close to the basket, it's not an unsportsmanlike foul because it's a contested shot, but great hustle by Kylie Gauci to get down there as we see.
Lisa Edmonds coming in for Sydney Uni.
So inducted in the Basketball New South Wales Hall of Fame earlier this year. Decorated athlete, done so much, and also with helping get the league up and connecting people in to play the game. So still enjoying it as an athlete as well.
Rose Holloman. Team Rima haven't stopped just because Rima has headed to the bench. They're still cheering on the Lions. Rose Holloman maintains her perfect streak this weekend. Still a 20-point lead to the Blues. Shadwell.
So despite the 4 fouls, Rose is still up causing some havoc up the court. She's played it safe so far, and we'll touch foot on that one that I haven't brought on her 5th foul.
Latu with the shot. Couldn't grab her own rebound. So we'll head back.
You see, Blues are still up, so 4:28 still to play in the 4th quarter, and the Blues are not changing their tactics. They're still up the court, still putting extra pressure on.
Tani Volmer unable to get the catch. The ball out of bounds will be with the Blues. Marianne Latu sets up for the 3.
She's got great range, but just slightly off target on that one there.
Not by much, though, as Holloman comes back. Holloman keeps working. Rose Holloman will head to the free throw line for another 2.
Yeah, we see just coming down there in transition, and Coach Cox was calling out as well, why is everybody on the one side of the court? We just had a little beehive effect happening. You only need one player to bust out, and Blues did a really good job of that in the first half as they created this league, of being able to find that open player and just get the ball over the top of where that pressure was or where that cluster was.
Yamamoto coming back in for Simpson. Holloman. That sting got me yesterday as well. I remember that one. Holloman misses her second. Coming back through Kylie Gauci. Gauci. Bullet pass into Latu. Latu to Munro Cook. Munro Cook will not get that shot to drop. Reedy with the rebound. Volmer. Edmonds. Just a little touch between Edmonds and Munro Cook.
Yamamoto in nice and quick there to help out. Again, that sportsmanship of our game.
Got it straight away. Munro Cook. Oh, that was a great pass and a great move by Kylie Gauci. Just unable to control the pass from Georgia Munro Cook. So we have 3.5 minutes. It's a 19-point lead to the Sydney Blues. Rose Holloman now. Holloman, too much momentum pushing her away from the rim, so she won't be able to get the shot there. There is a foul on the play. So it's on Marianne Latu. That'll be Latu's first foul of the game. Fourth team foul. So next foul committed by the Blues will see the Lions head to the free throw line.
Yeah, 3:21 left to play, and we don't see any sign of the Blues changing or deviating from their plan that they've had all season of being up and being right in the face of the opposition for the whole game.
Rose Holloman just a little long. Gauci with another rebound. Yamamoto plays through the contact from Volmer. Yamamoto gets her first basket of the night. Gauci gets the pass.
And the bucket. Great job by Kylie Gauci there.
Kylie Gauci, outstanding game, 18 points.
A little bit too much on that pass there, but deflected off Claire Knott, so it's still going to be a Lions ball.
2 minutes 40. So Hannah Dodd. Hannah Dodd from range. Just a little short. Coming back with Kylie Gauci. Almost screened by Claire Knott. Yamamoto gets the front part of the rim, but gets it to drop. Her second basket for the game inside the last 2 minutes.
She's done a lot off the ball and a lot without the actual looking to have any scoreboard pressure, but still able to hit them when they need to as Talon Reedy squares up. Just misses that one.
Still so young, Talon Reedy. Bright future ahead for that youngster. Great pass from the Blues. Yamamoto goes down after making the basket. And Patricia Luff will come in for Reedy. Patricia Luff, stalwart of the Cronulla Sharks, the Sutherland Sharks Basketball Association in the Waratah League. In for some action in the gold medal game. Holloman to Dodd. Dodd too much on her shot. Now coming back via Gauci. Gauci, Dodd creating all sorts of havoc. Yamamoto, short. Holloman the rebound. Edmonds now for the Lions. Edmonds gets it to Holloman. Coming back with Yamamoto. And Yamamoto scores.
So we said she hadn't done much on the score sheet with that part and a lot of stuff off it, but she's also added those points to a tally as well to get up to 8 points now.
Quickly jumped up to 8 points to be the third leading scorer for the Blues. Volmer. Claire Knott with the block. She'll be happy with that. Georgia Munro Cook. Hannah Dodd's gone down.
So
Alan Cox wants to talk it over with 21 and a half seconds remaining. Sydney Blues 31-point leaders over Sydney Uni.
Yeah, definitely game decided, but definitely just going to work out how to finish the game off. I think it's also worth noting for the Sydney Uni Lions, this season they had some pretty major retirements and finishing up last year with Liesl Tesh, stalwart of the program at Sydney Uni, finishing up with the parliamentary duties and many other things that she does. Still here in the crowd today to support, but not out there playing. We had Annabelle Lindsay go up to the Gold Coast to help with the new franchise there. Brodie Palmer, who'd been a stalwart and an offensive threat for the uni team for a number of years, also out of there, bring these younger players into the group and able to still be here, go from reigning champs to still being here in the gold medal game. Absolutely credit to them. So
yeah, absolutely. Cannot agree with you more there, Craig. At the start of the year, they came in as the defending champs, and I spoke to Liesl Tesh before the season started, and she mentioned to me that she wasn't coming back, and there was going to be big roster changes. So Coach Alan Cox and his team to get back to the gold medal game, go the long way via the preliminary final last night. Yeah. It does help having the league MVP in Hannah Dodd and Rose Holloman coming in later in the season.
And we see this, they haven't advanced the ball, so they're going to try and play the full 24 second or 21.6 that was left on the clock, the shot clock out.
Oh, that was the play.
Was there. We'll see if the Blues hold on to this with 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, Claire Knott. That wouldn't have counted, I don't believe. So, full time, and the champions of the Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League are the Sydney Blues. Congratulations, Sydney, running out 69 to 38 winners over the Sydney Uni Lions. Claire Knott getting congratulated by her children. Mari Yamamoto being flicked out of a chair by Jess Pello. But what an outstanding performance from the Sydney Blues this season.
Yeah, I think it's been a great season. We've seen them be so dominant. Different players changing roles throughout the actual season as they went through. Jess Cronje moving into more of a bench role where she's been out on court, but we've still seen those consistent things week in, week out, and we saw the whole game. They had a game plan, a style of play that they did throughout the season that we've grown to see with Troy Sachs, any team that he's involved in. It's going to be competitive. They're going to be aggressive on defence. They're going to have lots of scoring threats who get after it. We've seen that again here. Sydney Uni Lions, who've gone through, had lots of changes, lots of rookies come into the team. They've been supported and a great team all season, stuck around each other, and they've played out every minute of the game that they've been involved in.
So we're going to stay with the broadcast. We're going to go into the presentation. We'll also try and get to have a word with a few of the players from both teams.
Yeah, so again, as we see the Blues out in the middle of the court, fairly done so, winning by 31 points. They've owned this court. Thank you their fans. You can see both teams great supporters and great followers here, as expected with an All-Sydney final as they come through, with the big Blues signs in the stand there for them today. So just while we're getting the presentation set up, we will try and grab a player in, but they're definitely over celebrating, rightfully so as well. A number of people trying to catch flights after this. So the original presentation was to be after the men's game, but we're going to go through and bring the women's game forward with presentation here, so we can make sure people can get out, get past the marathon happening in Sydney at the moment today. So there'll be people doing a little detour to the airport.
There's lots of detours, and there are a lot of people in Sydney this weekend.
Check 1, 2. Hello. Can you hear me now? You can hear me now. It's really quiet.
So we've just got some sound happening as they're getting ready for the presentation.
So it looks like the actual presentation, the support team around here getting these games
Check
happening.
1, 2. Hello.
Yep, Kun, we can hear you. So the presentation has been set up fairly quickly with this. So it looks like we are good to go for presentation just about, as the the players finish being congratulated by their friends and families. And again, as we cross to presentation, we just want to say thank you to WBA and in particular the Beluga Foundation for helping us put this league on this season.
So we've just got Rose Holloman coming over to join us. So Rose, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Craig has said to me several times throughout this weekend, it's so hard to play you at an international level because you're always so friendly when you're not playing against someone. Such a competitor. Tough loss this evening against the Sydney Blues, but what a game and what a series all year long, the rivalry.
Yeah. It was a fun game today. I mean, it's hard to lose a game, but I think it's kind of iconic to have, like, Kylie Gauchi go off on us the way she did. Like, I've played against her my whole entire career, so it's awesome to be back here in Australia and play against her again.
A lot of teams have been talking about how much work you've been doing with them. I know you were working with the Roller Hawks this week. They welcomed you in, and just your professionalism has influenced so much in our league. How dedicated are you to your training? Like, how much effort does it take for you just to keep working as hard as you do?
Well, I guess it's funny that you say that because I keep saying that I took this year off from basketball, and I'm just trying to, like, love the sport. I think, like, I'm really grateful that as an individual, I just love what I do, and it's like playing a game to me. It's not serious, and I love working hard. So I think, I don't know, I haven't been as professional this year because it's just about playing a game that's meant for kids that we took, and it's professional now, and you're meant to love it, and I think that's the whole point of my training.
Absolutely. I think that's an awesome message to all the players out there. Like, we talk about sport. Sport is a game. Games are meant to be played. If you're playing, you should be having fun. What a powerful message to, do that. And, we know the harder you work, the more fun you can have because we become more competent. But making sure you still have that
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could have your attention to centre court, please.
As we get ready to cross to the presentations
Time for the
now.
presentations.
Rose, thanks again for everything you've done in the league this year. On and off court.
WBA champions
and we'll get you to
and place getters for 2025.
Have your presentation.
Bye.
Thanks,
you guys.
Rose.
To make the presentations with Jane Sachs, Paralympian and WBA Director. In third place, the team from Western Australia, the Perth Wheelcats. Georgia Inglis, could you please come out to centre court to receive the third place banner? I've just been told that Perth have already left for the airport. So let's have a big round of applause for Perth getting third place. And I know these ones haven't left yet because the second place team is still in the stadium. The Sydney Uni Lions, Hannah Dodd, captain of the Sydney Uni Lions. Could you please make your way out to receive the second place banner?
So Hannah Dodd, league MVP, about to get ready to back up and play for the Roller Hawks, collecting the second place banner for the Sydney Uni Lions.
Give it up, folks, for the Sydney Uni Lions. A fantastic season, second place today. We'd now like to get the Sydney Blues to receive their medals for the championship. Jess Cronje. Georgia Munro-Cook.
Georgia Munro-Cook, the league's leading scorer this year.
Claire Knott.
Claire Knott, member of the Australian squad for so many years.
Kylie Gauchi.
Kylie Gauchi, 18 points. Brilliant game from her.
Jess Pello.
Jess Pello, one of the youngsters. Member of the Blacktown Storm.
Mari Amamoto.
Amamoto, Japanese Paralympian, superstar of the game.
Daniela Eaglebust.
Eaglebust, such a contributor, does all the hard work.
Marianne Lottu. Tisha Shadwell. Victoria Simpson. And their coach, Troy Sachs. And now the presentation of the banner to the champions, to their captain, Georgia Munro-Cook.
Georgia Munro-Cook gets the banner.
And just before the final celebrations, ladies and gentlemen, we do have one more award, and that is the finals MVP for the finals weekend. And that fittingly comes from the Sydney Blues, Georgia Munro-Cook, finals MVP.
So Georgia Munro-Cook missing out on the MVP of the league, but was definitely the MVP of the final series. 33 points to go along with 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Outstanding work from the Gliders captain. Congratulations to the Sydney Blues, who have taken the gold medal. They will continue to celebrate. They've been so dedicated to this season. Kylie Gauchi has come out of her ball distributor role to record 18 points, 10 assists. She also had 7 rebounds. She's just had 3 rebounds off the triple-double. But congratulations to Sydney Blues. Everyone gets their photos. Deserving champions of the Women's National Wheelchair Basketball League, proudly supported by the Beluga Foundation. So on behalf of Craig Campbell, my name is Scott Deeks. We will check out to say goodbye and thank you for joining us. Don't forget, the Gliders will soon be on tour and having home games throughout the season. So we're gonna have a quick chat. So before we sign out, we're gonna have a quick chat with finals MVP Georgia Munro-Cook, Craig Campbell with me. Craig, the Blues have been dominant all year, and it's only fitting that they did win the championship, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they stuck to their game plan the whole time. With it, they didn't vary from it. They kept getting after it. And this player who's coming in now was a huge part of that all season. Absolute dominant scorer, getting after it. And then in the final again, we saw both taking on that alpha role with the team here, which we're excited by within the national program to see that as our captain, but taking on Rose Holloman and doing that defensive job on her as well. Like, everybody always talks about you, Cookie, as a dominant scorer, but you've really stepped up this season with your defense as well, and just having that all-rounded game. We talk about our benchmarking and how you're, from our language, that you're greening everything for what it took, to get qualified in different spots. What's been the change this season, and to flick that switch to just say we're going to yet another level?
I think just having confidence in my shot, but also recognising that if I miss a few shots, I can still play defence. I can still do other things on the court. Obviously Rose Holman's very hard to stop, but we managed to do it today.
I was going to say, she is very hard to stop, but that was, a great effort, and, credit to, being able to get that chair on and then the other bits. And we saw Kylie Gauchi, at the start of the game, all through the game, some vintage Gauchi there, finding gaps that didn't look like they were there, but either her chair or a ball got through. How important was that for the Blues today?
Yeah, it's so important. I think just what makes our team so valuable is that everyone can be a threat. And today it was Kylie. Other days it's Mari. Other days it's Marianne. But yeah, Kylie was incredible today. Yeah,
and that's so hard for the opposition to scout that, isn't it? When, we need to stop you from scoring, but all of a sudden, you've got 33 points. So, not such an effort with that part. But then we've got the next layer and then the next layer again with that part. So we did have a chance to talk to Rose Holloman before about that. And she spoke about how, she's out here having a season off and meant to be having fun, but it's still so competitive. And her career internationally, she made mention to Kylie Gauchi as well, playing through the whole time and still seeing her do that. We talk about your career where you've gone through as a long time ago now as an emerging glider, now as the captain of the team and moving through. How important has this league been this season for what's coming up at the end of the year with qualifiers for World Championships for you?
Yeah, I think it's just so crucial to be able to have this playing experience. And you kind of saw the first couple of rounds were a bit shaky. We were getting used to each other, but just being able to play every weekend, It's been so great, and get to play against Rose and with Mari, like these great international players. Hopefully our league will just keep getting stronger in that respect.
We've seen it throughout the year that the league has continued to grow from round 1 to the finals. But on Friday night, it was a great game between the Blues and the Lions. What did you take out of that game that made such a difference today?
I think we obviously started a bit shaky on Friday, but I think we really pulled it through with our defence, and I think you saw that again tonight. If shots aren't dropping, we can still stop them.
To hold a team like the Lions to 38 with Hannah Dodd and Rose Holman, that's an impressive effort. Georgia Munro-Cook, congratulations on the final series MVP and on a great season, the league leading scorer. You work so hard off the floor. I talked to your dad on round 1 on the first game when we were at Sydney Uni, and he was telling me about how hard you work off the floor. So congratulations on a great individual season. Congratulations on the championship. I know that's what you really wanted.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for joining us on the stream on KO this afternoon.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
All right. So Craig Campbell, a great year comes to an end. I thank you so much for joining us, coming up from Melbourne. We'll step away. Don't go anywhere, though. It will be the Darwin Salties and Wollongong Roller Hawks Wheelchair Basketball Australia, presented by the Beluga Foundation.